Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And I thought this would be kind of a fun discussion about networking and some of the things that are out there regarding networking and a little bit less cringe sometimes because I've seen some pretty cringe things when it comes to networking. I thought it would just be fun to talk about networking for lawyers who'd rather be doing anything else but networking, because a lot of us think that networking is sleazy, slimy, boring, ridiculous. And why do we have to do this? And can't we just pay someone to do SEO online to get all of our business? So this is not one of those let's make 10,000 connections on LinkedIn. Let's message everybody we know on LinkedIn asking if they need our services, sell your soul type discussions. I'm coming at this from the perspective of a lawyer, and that there are so many consultants and gurus out there trying to profess to be the end all of business development. I'm not trying to be that. I'm trying to just make it a little bit fun and to help lawyers understand easy things you can do to make networking work, that you have more business, that you can create a portable book of business, because where your referrals come from go with you when you go from wherever you're going. And so having those relationships and those connections set up will help you, but only if they're actually done correctly and not in some kind of random 10,000 spam everybody with, you should send me business. And if people feel you're being sleazy or you're being cheap or fake or you're just there for the referrals, they're not going to send you good things anyway. So you don't want those referrals. And it'll just be a lot of work for nothing. So I had three, I call them hacks. They're not really hacks. They are what you would think are common sense things that are maybe not so common, or we have to intentionally think about them. And no, I'm not going to start quoting platitudes like ABC, always be closing, and things like that. But the first one I will say is, and this is just, there's a PowerPoint for this. There's just me talking. So you get me on video today for Thanksgiving. I am wearing a t-shirt that says "Let's get basted," if that helps. So um, it's the rebel in me. But my first hack is probably one that I follow more than anyone else, is stop talking and start listening. Don't talk about yourself. Stop talking about yourself, because honestly, nobody cares. Nobody cares about your resume. No one cares where you went to law school for the most part. There are exceptions to every rule. And that's why networking isn't a one size fits all thing. But no one cares about you. I promise you, all they're doing is thinking in their head, when is this person going to stop talking so that I can tell them what I do? They love talking about themselves. And if you actually pay attention to what they're saying and listen, they come away from networking with you thinking you're some kind of genius. Like, I don't have to say three words during some networking, and they think, oh, Jen is great. She listened to everything I said and she had all these ideas. And I really didn't have that many ideas or that many things, but I just listened to them. So if you ask people questions and they feel like they got to talk about themselves, that's what we all like doing. Shocking, I know. If you ask them good questions, you figure out a lot of things. First of all, you figure out where their motivations are, you figure out good types of referrals, you get a feel for their personality. There are some people I won't refer business to because they are sleazy and I don't like to deal with that. So I make the decision not to do that. But you get a feel for them. You will stand out against 99% of people at networking events and in coffee meetings because everyone is too busy planning out what they want to say and the perfect pitch that no one is actually listening and connecting. So my first one is just stop talking. There are times I want to tell my 8-year-old this. I'm like, can you just stop talking? And she can. I know she can. But that's my first hack. My second one is, please stop with the ridiculous elevator pitches that I don't know who told you to put together something super boring and say, and I'm going to pick on, I guess I'll pick on bankruptcy attorneys because I'm a bankruptcy. I don't see them at networking events very often. You're a bankruptcy attorney and you're not networking, you are missing out. Lots of people have financial problems, including the people at networking events. But if I walk into a networking event and someone says, "Oh, what do you do?" And you say, "I am a bankruptcy attorney." First of all, people don't know what that means. They You can say something like, "I help people with, debt or filing for bankruptcy." They still don't know what that means. You can say, "I'm an estate planning attorney." No one knows what that means. Even estate planning attorneys are sometimes like, "Well, what kind of estate planning? Like, do you do special needs trust?" There's all kinds of different iterations out there. So my suggestion is to ditch this whole idea of a canned pitch that you have and have stories. Tell people what you actually do and who you help. So you can say things like, I'm going to divorce court and I help my clients fight back against abusers and fight back against people who have more resources than they do, or something like that if you're a family law attorney. As long as you make the story something that they'll remember. For example, one time for a while, a couple meetings in a row or a couple discussions I had just gotten rid of about $400,000 in taxes for a client. And that was my story. Was I just helped a client deal with their financial stress by getting rid of $400,000 in past due taxes from a failed business, and got them back on the right track so that they can save for retirement and actually function in society. That type of that, and that was 15 seconds, by the way. You don't have to tell a story that, well, then I did this, and then I did this. First of all, 15 seconds. After that, no one's listening. Go back to number one, stop talking and start listening. No one's listening. So if you actually make something that's memorable and it doesn't include like your practice area, even attorneys don't always understand different practice areas. And so if you even get outside of attorneys, I cannot tell you how many attorneys I will have reach out to me and say, "Well, I have this client and I think they need a bankruptcy." And they start talking to me and I'm like, they may need a bankruptcy, but they may need something else. They don't even actually know what practice area they need. So non-attorneys often don't know that either, which is fine. If you use words to describe your practice area and stories, you'll be way out better off than an elevator pitch that is canned and people don't remember. And it's really, really boring if you're in a networking group and you have to go around the room and listen to 40 people say, "Hi, I'm a estate planning attorney. Hi, I'm a family law attorney. Hi, I'm a bankruptcy attorney." First of all, nobody cares. Going back to hack number one. And number two, nobody remembers that. Like, I may have a top of my head, "Oh, I think I'm an estate planning attorney, but I can't remember what their specialty was. I don't remember exactly what made them different." Be different. So ditch the elevator pitch. That's hack number two. And finally, hack number three, follow up without being weird. You don't have to be a weirdo who texts somebody immediately after a coffee meeting or a networking event, or where you can tell that they just mass emailed out everybody they got a business card to right afterwards because someone told them that follow up is key. And it says, "It was so great meeting you." Okay, great. It wasn't great meeting. No one thinks that. No one thinks it was great meeting you for the most part, for like a blanket list of people. There may be a few people that you're like, "Oh, I really had a good connection with them and we got talking about the clients that we help, and they may be a good one to follow up with." But you don't have to do it that next after an event or after you meet them. You can send something quick afterwards that's personalized, that said, "It was great chatting with you about something very specific. Let's grab coffee or let's collaborate. Let's do a Zoom. I have some ideas that we could work on together." That kind of thing. If you meet partners like that, those are the ones you want to follow up with, not a blanket email that goes out to 100 people that is obvious that you don't even remember talking to them probably. And if you actually follow through and say, "Here's a link to my calendar, let's schedule it," That is not weird. Collecting business cards like they are trophies is weird and very sales pitchy, very off putting, I guess. And there have been times where I've been meeting one to one with people and it would get weird. Like they were trying to sell you. And I talk about this when I talk about networking all the time. If you're trying to sell the person you're networking with, you're doing networking wrong. You are not fishing for clients, you are fishing for referral partners. And when you cultivate 1,000 or 2,000 referral partners out there through various means, you have a steady stream of business coming in that doesn't rely on a one-off where you're always out there looking for clients. So hack number 3, don't be weird. Do not send LinkedIn messages asking to set up a complimentary session. Don't send LinkedIn messages at all for the most part, especially if they're automated, that over and over again saying, hey, it was great to meet you. I offer a complimentary session on blah, 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 blah. If I wanted your complimentary session, I would have asked you for it when we met and talked about your business. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So just recapping, stop talking about yourself and listen to what other people need, do, want, and steer the conversation towards those things. You get more information from them, you get more information to them by listening, which doesn't sound correct. It sounds like, well, if I don't say a word, then they're not going to know what I do. First of all, they don't care. Second, they will think you're fantastic and amazing because all you did was listen to them. It's human nature. Number 2, toss your elevator pitch. Just get rid of it. Whatever standard script you have out there, you can tell someone has rehearsed it and is just repeating the same thing over and over again. And 3, don't ghost people after meeting them. Don't text them 2 minutes after you meet them. Follow up like a normal human being. I know we're lawyers. We're not really normal. We'll never be normal. No one can expect us to be normal. But follow up like a normal human being on actual connections that you make. So if you're sitting there thinking, okay, this makes sense, I don't know how to put this all together, there's a lot more to these hacks. So these are just like 3 of the modules that I have for my upcoming sleazy, easy not sleazy course that I have. But if you're thinking, I don't know where to go with this, and there's a lot of information out there, I have 8 modules on this topic, teaching you why you should care about networking, sales pitches, how to get away from the cheesy things used car sales people say, all of those things that put together. So even talking about the first hack in there, stop listening, I have about 45 minutes on that topic where we go through what that actually means, not stop listening. You can stop listening anytime if you want. You can just click off this live. But like 45 minutes on how to start listening and use those skills to create referral partners. So that's part of this on here is how do you help others get what they want? And why the heck would you want to do that? Putting together an effective or boring, your choice. Elevator pitch. Again, I gave the quick hack today of stop saying I'm a bankruptcy attorney over and over and over again. But how do you actually do that? And what do those stories look like? So that's one of the modules in there. And then gathering your referral sources and teaching them to make sales for you. This sounds like an MLM. It's not an MLM, but it goes back to hack number 3. How do you follow up without being weird and create value for your network? And this doesn't have to take a lot of time. Like you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours networking. I think people overcomplicate networking and make it so that it's this ridiculous process that has to be somehow complicated, somehow systematized. Yes, there's a system for a lot of things, but it doesn't have to be the same system for everyone. And that's why I get really frustrated with some of the programs out there talking about it has to be the same system. The focus on the workshop that I'm doing is that you are creating the system that works for you, not some cookie cutter system that's out there. So if you're sick of kind of all these platitudes and all of the, oh, you should be doing this and you should be doing that, and I'm doing this, and listening to all of that. Hopefully you're listening, but if you're sick of all that, that's why I created this course. I had so many people I was talking to, and there were some very basics of networking that were getting lost. And then for lawyers, there were some other things to think about too that we put in there. And now with AI, there are so many applications of AI that you can use in your system that you create. So that's a very fun part of this. So this course is in pre-launch. I have a Black Friday special through December 1st. It is 50% off through December 1st at midnight, which I think is Sunday night at midnight. And then it will go back to the regular price. If you go to lawyersuccessnetwork.com/store, all the Black Friday sales are there. And it is about a 4-hour, it's 8 modules, about 4 hours of content, including how to create your own plan that works for you. There is sarcasm. Sorry, you have to make the stuff entertaining and fun, which is something that we bring into all of the modules and something we bring into your actual plan. Because if you think it's super boring, you're never going to do it. And why not have a business that you can build and take with you rather than just fumbling around and not having fun, I guess. So anyway, it's available through December 1st. The course goes live December 16th. There are other Black Friday specials on that page because I have a whole bunch of things that we are in the process of launching, creating, and my bankruptcy course is on there. There's a live version of the bankruptcy course coming up again. And there is a marketing module in the bankruptcy course that talks about networking. So some of the basics are in there, but this would be like networking and sales on steroids versus the 1-hour marketing module that I do in the bankruptcy course. So if you've done the bankruptcy course, this will be new content on top of what we discussed in the marketing section of the bankruptcy course. So if you have questions, let me know. LawyerSuccessNetwork.com/store is the Black Friday. All the sales are on there, all kinds of fun. And I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Please try not to sell any legal services to your family members at Thanksgiving. I know we all get to Thanksgiving and just can't wait to talk about, Aunt Susie's divorce over mashed potatoes, but try to contain yourself. Just listen. And if you have questions, let me know. Happy to chat. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, YouTube. My Facebook group is Lawyer Success Network. It's a private Facebook group for lawyers. And I will see you all in the next live video that I decide to do someday when I do another video, maybe tomorrow. I may have to escape from Thanksgiving prep to do something